各位媒体朋友，大家
Dear
好。
friends from media,
14届全国人大4
Good
次
morning.
会议首场代表通
the
道
first
现在开始
Deputies。Corridor of the
今天上午
fourth session of the
大会新闻
14th
中心邀请了6位
NPC now
来自
begins.
工业
This、morning we have
农业、
invited 6
科
deputies
技、
from the fields
教
of
育、
industry,
体育、
agriculture,
国防领域的
technology,
全国人大
education,
代表
sports, and
走
national
上代表通
defense
道，并
to
紧密结合自
come
身
to
的
the
履职
corridor and to
回
meet
答
all
大
of
家
you,
的
and
提
they
问。
will answer your
现在
questions
请第一组代表，
according to their
谢谢。
experience. Shall we invite the first batch of deputies?
2位代表分别是
They are
中国一汽研发总院首席技能大师
research
杨永
and
修代表，
the senior technician
大家上午
from
好
the。Research and Development Center of First
北
Automotive
京
Works,
微芯区块链与边缘
杨永
计算
修
研究院院长董进代表。
Deputy Dong Jin, Director from Beijing Academy of Blockchain
谢谢。
and Edge
现在
Computing.
请大家开始提
Good
问，
morning. Now the floor is open to questions.
请中央广播电视总台记者提问。举手的
First
这位男
question,
士。
please.
谢谢主持人，我
Thank
是
you
中
very
央广
much.
播电
I'm
视总
with
台的记者，
China
我想
Media
提问
Group.
杨永修代
My
表。
question
杨
is
代表您
to
好，
Deputy
您从一
Yang
名
Yongxiu.
高职毕业生成长为
So
大佛
from
工匠、
a
首席技能大师，
vocational
攻克了
school
上百项
graduate,
技术难关，
and
在
then
追
you have
求
become a
极致
senior
精度的道
technician,
路上不断
and
突破。
you
那
have
大家都很好
constantly
奇，
made
支撑您一路
breakthroughs
闯关的密
in
码究竟是
craftsmanship.
什么呢？
What is
谢
the
谢。
secret
好
of your
谢谢您的
success?
提问。大家好，我是
Thank
吉
you
林代
very
表
much.
团杨永修，
I'm from the
在
Jilin
中国仪
delegation.
器
My name is
研发
Yang
实质有限
Yongxiu.
工作。
I work at the
我曾
front
经也
line
是
of
一个
the
技术小
First
白，
Automotive Works.
图纸
I
看得慢
used to be
设备呢也玩不转，
not so
但我就是
knowledgeable
有些
about
不服
the
气，
skills
爱琢磨。
and those
别人
equipment,
能
but
干
I
的，我凭
dare
啥
to
不行？
defy the odds. And when
手艺这
others
东
can
西
do
啊
that,
没有
why
捷
can't
径，
I? So there's
就是
no
要把手
shortcuts
练出技
in
性，
terms of
让零
skills, and
件
you have
在
to
你手里
be
听话。
familiar, you
那么
have to
干
get
高精尖的
familiar
活
with
困难呀
all the
就更大
equipments
了。
and tools.
一个汽车发动机缸
There's a lot of
体
difficulties
精度要
when
求
it
是
comes
头发丝
to
粗细的1/5，
a vehicle,
差1丝1
because you need
毫
to have
整车的性能啊
precision.
都会受到影响。不断失
If
败，
you don't
我
have
们就
precision,
不断
you
的去
will
尝试、
end up
去挑
affecting
战
the。overall
一个
performance
工
of
件
the
需要
vehicle,
反复
and
调试
you need to
十
go
几遍
through rounds
甚
and
至
rounds
几
of
十遍。
adjustments,
有时候半夜躺在
and
床
dozens
上，
rounds of
这脑子
testing
里
and
啊
adjustments,
全
and
是工艺
sometimes when
和数
I'm
据。
lying on the bed,
因为我闯关的密
everything in
码
my
是什么？
mind is data
我觉得
and
呀，咱得
craftsmanship
真心的喜欢它，
so what is the
我对这些
secret of
铁疙瘩呀
success? I
是有
think
感情的。
passion and
解决
interest.
一个技术难题，
I feel this very
那个
strongly,
成就
and
感
to
比吃啥都香。
if you have solved
当
a
你不只
technical
是为了完
problem,
成
this
任务，
sense of
而
achievement
是真心的
is
想把这个技术难题
overwhelming.
研究
And
透
if，you truly want to
你就有
get
用不完的劲儿。
down to the bottom of this
还得
issue,
永远
and
把自
then
己
you will
当
feel
作
very
学生，
passionate, and you will
因
also
为
have
技
to
术
regard
天天在变，
yourself always
老
as
方
a
法
student
肯定
because
解决不了
technology
新问题。
keeps evolving. With
所以
the
无论
old
什么时
approach,
候
you cannot solve
我
the
们
new
都要不
problem.
断的去学习，
So no
不
matter
断的去
when,
研究新技术、新方法。
we're talking about you have
说
to
到底，
research into new
工匠这
approaches
俩
and
字
new
啊，不
methodologies.
是光环，
A craftsman
是
is
责
not
任。
a glorious
咱得时
title.
时想着，
It's
咱们
more
手里
of
干出来的
a
精密零件，
responsibility.
是代表着中国汽车工
You
业的
have,
水
you
平。
have to remind yourself
这种
that
动力啊，
the
就
high
源源不断
precision
了。
tools
再
coming
就
out of
是
your
我为
hand
我所从事
represent
的
the
事业
level
而
of
骄傲。
craftsmanship of the
去
country.
年9月3号，
And
我非常荣幸的
on September
受
the
邀参
3rd
加在
last
天安门
year, I
广
was
场举行
very
的
honored
阅
to be
兵观礼。
invited to the military
要说
parade
当时的感受啊，
held at the
那
Tiananmen
就是2个
Square.
字，
So I
骄
can
傲。
share with you my feelings.
咱们国家装备队伍开
It's
过来，
nothing but pride.
轰隆隆的那
And
个气势
when
啊，
the
震得人心里都发
having
烫。
military trucks
当看到我们
arrived
仪
at
器
the
自己造
scene,
的红旗检
I
阅
felt
车，
overwhelmed.
稳稳
And
地
when I
开过来
saw
那一
the
刻，
Hongqi
说实话，
vehicle
我的眼泪啊，实在是控制不
come in
住。
front of my eyes, I couldn't
那不只是
hold
一辆
my
车啊，
tears. And it's
那
not
是咱
just the
们中国
vehicle.
汽车工业的脸面，
It's
是几
the
代汽车人的
macrocosm
心
of
血。
China's automotive industry,
我作为
and
一名
it is
仪器
the
人，
result
红
of
旗研发人，
generations of
那份自
auto
豪感
workers.
实在是
And
无
I
法用语言
cannot
来形容。
describe how proud I
2020
felt
习近
at
平
the
总书
moment.
记
And
视察
in
仪器的时候，
2022, when President
嘱咐我
Xi
们
paid a visit
一
to
定要把关键核心技术
FAW,
掌
he
握在自己手
instructed
里，
that we
把
have
民
to
族汽车品牌搞
hold
上去。
firm to our own
如今，
hand our own
我们自己 能把最精密的发动机、
And
最
right
智能
now
的
we are
控制系
able
统
to
都牢牢的 攥在了自己手里，
develop our own
看到咱们的红旗是
automotive
与国家共进，与时代同
systems
行，
and
感
technologies.
到
And when I
特别的
see
光荣。
FAW
我
vehicles
们这些在车间里
marching
文化
ahead
归档
with
的
our
人，
times, I
能够
feel
参与到这个
glorified and I
伟
feel
大的
proud
事业
and
里，
I
这辈
feel
子
more than
值
privileged
了。
to be part of these great
谢谢。
times. Thank
谢
you.
谢。请大家继续提问。
Next question, please.
请北京日报记者提问，举手的这位男士。
Beijing Daily, please.
北京日报长安街知事记者提问，请问董进代表，
My question to
您
Mr. Dong
长
Jin.
期从事区块链技术研究，
You long in
很
the
多人都很关
industry
心
of
现在我
blockchain
国区块链
computing,
技术的
and a lot of
自主
people
创新
quite
进展的怎
worried
么样了？
and
区
also
块链
would
技
like
术
to know
怎样
what's the
服务于
progress
国
made
家
in
战
this
略？
industry
谢谢。
and how blockchain and edge computing
谢谢
could
您的提
contribute
问。
to the country's
区块
development.
链技术
Thank you for
呢
your
是一
question.
类
Blockchain
前沿的信息
technology, yes, indeed, is
在
a
人
quite
工智能
advanced
的
cutting-edge
算法、算
technology.
力、数据
We
三
talk
要
about
素
that
中的区块链是确保数据的
Blockchain
真
is
实
actually
可
to make
信
sure
可
that the
溯
data is
可以说呢，
reliable
在
and
数字经济
authentic.
发展过程
We
中
talk about that
区块
could
链是
make
最
guarantee
关键
that
的
the traceability of
数字基础
data.
设施
We
之
talk
一。
about actually the
在
blockchain is the most
2019
important or one of the
之前
critical
我们
digital
国
fracture.
内的区块
In
链应用呢
2019,
开始
application of blockchain
涉及到
started to spread,
民生、
covering
能源、
and
贸易
government
相关的领域。
administration, energy, trade, and other
绝
fields.
大部分
But
应
also
用
we could
是基
see
于
that a
国
lot of
外
the
的
application
基础
actually
技术
was based
那
on
个时候呢，
the base
我们
technology
国
or the
家
underlying
还没
technology
有
from other
自己的
countries.
区块链
Because
底
back
层核
then
心科技。
we did not have
2019
a
年末
core
北
blockchain
京
underlying
主动
technology.
承担了国家的
Late in
战略任务，
2019,
快速汇聚
Beijing
在全
Academy
球
actually
区块
took
链
the
领域
initiative to
的顶
undertake
级
the
科学
country's
家
the
数百位。
strategic task,
我们
gathering
组建
top
了
talent
微星研
in the
究院。
global blockchain
我
field,
们这家
hundreds
研
of
究
them.
院呢，就是用
We
集团
formed
军作战的方
the
式，
research
集中攻
institute.
坚解决
So
我
which
们国
means
家
that
区块链
inside we gathered
的
that
底层
the
核
top
心技术。
talents to help us to
经过了
tackle and
不懈的
solve
努力，
that
我
the
和
core
团队
underlying
研发
technology
出
of the blockchain
全
field.
球首个
Through
软
unremitting
硬一体的
efforts,
区块链
my
底
team
层
and
操作系
I
统。
developed the world
300
first
万行
integrated
源码
software and
的
hardware
全部
blockchain
开源开
underlying
放，
the
全
operating
社会
system,
免
and
费
also
使
the
用，
3 million lines
极
of
大地
source
提升
codes
了
actually
技术
are
的
all
社会价
open
值。
source, free
与此
for the
同
whole
时呢，
society to use,
我
greatly
们研
enhancing
发的
the social value of
全球
technology.
首款
At the same time,
96
the
核
world
的区块链
first
专用加速芯片，这个芯片呢，
the
能让
96
区块
core
链的性
blockchain
能呢
specific acceleration
提
chip
升50倍。
actually
更
can
重要
increase
的
the
是呢，
performance of the blockchain by
这项
50
技术
times.
成功突破了超大规模区块链网
So
络
these
所面临
the
的
technology
算
help
力
us
瓶颈。
that successfully
让我们国家
broken through
可
the
信的
key
数字基础
technical
设施呢，
problems
拥有
faced
了
by
中国
large-scale
芯。
blockchain
目前
networks. So this is
自主
actually
的
that
区
the
块链
China
系
chip
统
that
已
really
经
help
应
us to
用
make
到
this
16
happen.
个
So
中
right
央
now
部委
we have used
和
that
27
to that
个中央企
16
业。
the
在税务
government
领域，
departments and
我们国
27
家
the
每
central
年
enterprises.
数百亿张发
Every
票
year,
全部跑
and
在
more
自
than
主的区块
the
链网
tens
络
of
中呢。
billions
用
of
区块链
invoices
来
actually
确保
our
我
country
们国
every
家
year are
每一
all
张发
running on
票
the
是
self-developed
真
blockchain
实可
network.
信可
Make sure
靠。
that every invoice actually
在
is
跨境贸易
reliable,
领域，
genuine, and
自主
traceable.
的区块链实时
In
链
trade
通
industry,
不同行业、不同区域
especially the
的
cross-border
关键
trade,
核
the
心数据，
self-developed
让我
blockchain
们的
enabled
跨境
real-time
通关
connection
效
of
率
key
呢
core
指数提
data,
升。
and
目
that
前
also
上链的
enhancing
企业
cross-border
已经
custom
超
clearance
过了
and
30
improved
万
their
家，
work
在自
efficiency.
主区块链网
Right
络
now,
中
we
承
could
载
see
的
that more
跨
than
境贸易
that
金额
the
呢是万亿
300,000 enterprises
元的
actually
水
was
平。
on the
在
blockchain
全球支付领域，自主
hosting
的区块链技
the
术
cross-border
和央
trade
行
volume
的
of 1 trillion
数
yuan
字人民币
in the
结合
global payment field.
实现了
The
资金
self-developed
流、
blockchain technology
业务
also
流、
combined
信
with
息
the
流的
central
三流合
bank
一，
PBOCs, the
也形
digital
成了我
currency,
们国家的
realizing the
跨境
integration of
支
capital
付
flow,
新的
business
通
flow,
道。
and information flow. This also helped to
目前呢，
create a new channel for
随着
cross-border
应用的
payment
拓展，
in China.
国家级
Currently,
的
with
区
the
块链
expansion
网
of
络呢
application,
已经形成。这个网
China's
络的目的
blockchain
呢
network has
就是
been
要 要把我
built.
们国家
So
跨
its
境贸易
purpose
全球支付
is
这些
to
领
bring
域
that the
高
cross-border
价值核心
trade,
数据
global
缠绕在
payments,
我们自主
and
的系
also
统里
other high-value core data
今
within
年
our
2月
own system.
习近平总书记
In
在
February
北
this
京
year,
考察
President
科
Xi
技创新
Jinping
工作，我有幸向总
also
书记汇报
inspected technology
区块链
innovation work in
自主创新
Beijing,
的工作
and
进
I'm
展。
very proud to
面向
report
实务
to
我们也
the
将
President
牢记总书记
see
的
that about the
嘱托，
progress of
咬
blockchain
定青山
independent
不放
innovation.
松，
Looking
紧紧
forward,
围绕
we
我
will
们
keep
国
in
家
mind
的重
the
大战略
General
需求，
Secretary's entrustment,
确保
hold
我们
firm
国
to
家
our
的区块
ideals,
链
and never
领
let
域的
go,
底
closely
层核
focus
心
on
技
the
术
major
持续
strategic
领
needs
先，
of our country, make sure
真
that
正夯
the
实
core underlying technology in the
贯通
blockchain
全
field
国
of our country
链通
remain
全
at the
球的
forefront
可信数字
in this
场
industry,
谢
and
谢您的
also
提
to
问。
build a solid and reliable
谢谢，
digital
谢谢两位代表。
network and the
谢谢。
Great Wall. Thank you.
现在请第二组代表。
Now let's bring on the second batch of deputies.
两位代表分别是
They are
江苏理夏河地区农科所研究员高德荣
researcher
代表，
from the Institute of Agricultural Sciences of Lixiahe
云南
region of
省
Jiangsu
文
province,
山州连城
高
镇
德荣.
洛松地小学
And
教
then we
师
also have
农家贵代表。
Nong Jiagui, a teacher from Luosongdi Primary
谢谢。
School in
现在请
Guangnan
大家开
County
始
of
提问。
Yunnan Province. Now the floor is open to questions.
请第一排举手的人民日报社记者提问。这位
First
女士
question, please.
谢谢主持人。
Thank
人民
you
日
very
报记
much.
者提
I'm
问
with，
我的问题
The
想要提
People's
给高德
Daily.
荣
My
代表
question。is to
今天是
Deputy
24节气里的
Gao
惊蛰
Derong.，
正是农作物生长的一个关键时期。我们知道您一直是研究种子的，所以我想请问您对于保障粮食安全有什么样的思考和理智体会？谢
food
谢。
security and food safety. And what considerations do you have in ensuring food supply in China?
来自江苏理夏河地区。
Good morning. My name is Gao Derong. I'm a researcher at the Institute of Agricultural Sciences from Lixiahe region of Jiangsu province. I have been dealing with wheat for
我和
the
千千
past
万万
30
农民
years.
兄弟一样，
Like
是追着
all
实力走
the
的。
peasants and
眼
farmers,
下
and we
正值小
follow
麦反迁拔地
the
期，苗情复杂，
agricultural
这几天
calendar
变化不断。
of the year. And
播种时生一寸，
when
分
you
粒就可能少几根。这里面的学
sow
问
the
得
seeds
向土地
to
请
a
教。
sufficient number, you will ensure
忙来忙去，
sufficient
其
yield.
实我
And
只做一件事，为我们国家培育
over
高
the
产抗
years,
病
I
小麦
have
品
only actually done one thing, which is to
大家
cultivate
可能听说
high
过小
yield
麦的癌
wheat.
症、
And
痴迷
you
病，
may have
一旦爆
heard
发，可能
the
颗粒无收。
wheat cancer, and when that
江苏
breaks
地
out,
处长
you
江
will
下游，
have zero
许多
yield. And
湿
the
度大，
Jiangsu locates at
是
the
痴迷
lower
病
stream
的
of the Yangtze
常发
River. We
送
have
法区。
sufficient precipitation, and we are a major
亲眼目睹
base of
一位老农
wheat and
站在因痴迷
paddy
病而
field.
绝色的麦
And
田
I
里流泪。
saw a couple of years
那
ago
一
that
幕
because of
像
a
一根
cancer
刺
breakout
深深
among
地
the
扎在我
wheat,
的心
and
里。
we had
农民的
minimal
眼泪
yield of
就
the
是我们
wheat,
科技
and I
工作者
saw
攻坚
the
克难的
farmers
动力。
shedding out tears, and
怎
the
么
tears
突破？
that they shed are
从
what
转病思
drives
路开始，
researchers.
我们跳出传统育种模式，
So we
通过
have
分子育种技术，尝试在种子内部
brought
植
about
入
innovation
抗病
to the
菌，
traditional breeding technology,
30
and after
无
30
数组
years,
合，反复实
we
验。
have
终于
tried
在
multiple
2021
configurations
日程
and combinations, and
第一
in
个抗痴迷
in
病品种，
2020,
它不仅抗性强，
we
而且
managed
产量
to
高。切莫斯万方
produce
国产
the
可
first
达
anti-falling
600公斤。
wheat breed, and the
这
per
意
mu
味
of
着
yield
农民
reaches
可以少打药，多
600
打粮，
kilos,
收成
and that
更稳
means
当。
with less
品种改良
seed
一直
inputs
在路
and
上。
fertilizer input,
我
you
们
can
追求的
have
不仅是吃得饱，
sufficient yield,
更
and
要吃得
we
好，
do not just want to
还
feed
要让种粮
ourselves,
人有
we
份
have to feed ourselves well,
南
we
方
have to bring
稻麦轮作，
security
大头
to the
紧张。
farmers.
小麦播种期常
And
被迫推
in
迟。
the southern part of
怎么
China,
办？
because of climate,
我们
the
提出
sowing season
两种
for
快
the
速发育
wheat
的
is
策略，
oftentimes
让小麦学会抢
postponed.
时间。
So we have
日
to
程呢
race
像
with
杨麦阿寿
the
一样
calendar.
来直播的品种，
And
疾病
after
12月份播种，
genetically
国
modifying
产也能
the
达到600公斤。
seeds of the wheat, we
我
can
们还针对
reduce, we can
敏感高
resolve
地
this
区
issue, and we can also ensure a yield of 600
有种呢
kilos per
长期依赖进
mu
口
of
的
land, and we also changed the history of over-reliance on imports. We are
为我
just
们端到
like
饭碗
a，
守护粮仓安
army
全，贡献的力
ensuring
量。
the security of China's food.
作为一名人大代表，
As a NPC deputy, I
高标准农田建设能不能
write
更
my
快一些？
answers on the
为农补
vast
贴
fields
能否
of
更清楚？
China, and we want
这些
to
都是我在庭埂上
put on the
收集到的
ground
声音。
precision,
我也向记录私
poverty
隐数据一样，
alleviation,
认真
and
取向。
I
化为
take
一
note
份
of
份代表
a
性。
lot of data and
我提出的
translate the data
关
into
于提
my
高高标准农田
tangible
建设投入的金
actions. I
可以
have
采纳
submitted a
名目投
proposal
入
which has to
从
do with
1750元
rolling
提高
out
至
high
3000元。
standard experimental
接下来，
lands,
我
and
将继
I
续
also
深耕麦
propose
田，
to
让土地多
increase
采
the
粮，
subsidy
让农
to
民多收入。
farmers, and
我们一
going
起
forward,
把
I
饭
will
碗端得
work
更
very
稳、
hard
更
to
牢。
increase
谢谢。
the income of the farmers and ensure
谢谢。
greater food
请大
security.
家继续提问。
Thank you. Next question, please.
请第一排举手的新华社记者提问，这位男士。
谢谢。新华社记者提
Xinhua
问
News，
那我的问
Agency.
题
My
想提问
question
给农家贵代
to
表。
Mr. 农家
您在
贵。
洛松地小学担任了
You
40
come
年
from
的乡
洛
村教师，
松地
那
and
我们
you've been there for
我们
40
很好
years
奇，
as the
洛松
teacher
地这
in
个名
primary
字
school in 洛松
是
地。
怎么来
So
的？
would you please
它
first tell us what's the name of 洛松地?
我
What's
们很
the
好奇
meaning of that?
洛松地小学这个名字很特别，它是怎么
Because
来
it's
的？
very
能给我
special.
们讲讲
So
您
we
所
would like
经
to
历的
know a
洛
little
松
bit
地故
more
事吗？
about the story behind that naming. And can you share with us more stories and your experience? Thank you very much. My name is 洛松地. Actually, the location of our school actually is a small village without a name, and it also used to be a place for that the treatment of that leprosy patients, and also usually people call that a village or that's the leprosy village. So in 1986, when I was just 20 years old, I found a job there. I saw the disabled elderly people. Actually, I wanted to run away, but you know, I saw the children's eyes. The eyes was eager, stay eager for knowledge. I couldn't take a step to run away, so I stayed. So think about that, the difficulties. You know that there's no that the textbook and the classroom actually borrow from the hospitals. And the room just was around 20 square meters. And the textbook actually were second books I found here and there. And there's no that test papers. And actually, the students finished that the third grade, they actually need to go other places to continue the fourth grade. They actually cried to me and said, "Teacher, we would like to stay. We don't want to stay in the village without the name for a lifetime." So I think about that, how we could help them. And I actually recruit a new class. There's no that infrastructure. We talk about there's no buildings. So actually they built the building, the room by their hands with their fists. We talk about the elderly people. Actually, they didn't have any tools back home. They just used their cooking tools. How about to mix the concrete, the mortar, so that they work day and night like this, and the children witness all these, and they study even harder. In 1992, my first batch of students graduated from primary school, and when they're filling out their enrollment materials and the column of home address, I actually didn't dare to write down the name of the village. And actually, I wrote down 洛松地. So why I call it 洛松地? Because back then, this village actually grew a lot of peanuts. And actually, you know, it's a very famous article in our textbook. It's called Falling Peanuts. We talk about that the cover or the appearance of peanuts is simple and unadorned, and the fruit is deeply buried in the ground. Actually, although this is a village with a lot of disability people, but still they have a beautiful heart. So they are very supportive of education. And I also talk to other teachers and ask them, that they actually came to me. They know that do you know students from Luosongdi, they actually had performed really good in exam. The high score 206 points, the lowest 135 points. All exciting score, the average line. Actually, I brought that good news back to the village, and the whole village actually was so happy. I back then was only one teacher there. I sent away a total of 1,000 primary school graduates, 12 classes, 126 children. They successfully entered the workforce. I spent there 40 years. People ask me, how many 40 years does one person have in the whole lifetime? Is it worse to doing that? I said it was worse. Because my students said if Mr. was not really there or hesitated a little bit at the beginning, and we would never be able to leave the mountains. Talk about that knowledge actually changed our fate. You could see right now with the support of the local government and also the sectors of society, previously that the closed village has now totally transformed and become a modern village of ethnic unity and progress. As a teacher from grassroots, I will continue to stay in my post to make my dedicated contribution, and also I will continue my endeavor and stay true to my original aspiration, the founding mission. I believe this is how I pay back to the people, to the society. On September 3rd last year, as a representative outstanding party member across the country, I got the honor to participate the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against the Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War as a commemorating event. And the event, I also joined others singing Ode to the Motherland. Actually, back to the village, I also share my thoughts with the children. I told the story of the great spirit of the war resistance. I told them that study hard, strive to make the country stronger. And for myself, I will continue to practice that wholeheartedly serving the people. Because like for myself, when I decided to join the party, I made my application saying I'm an entrepreneur and I'm willing to fall behind others. I will continue my job. Thank you.
谢谢。现在请第三组代表。
Now let's bring on stage the third batch of deputies.
两位代表分别是江西省水上运动管理中心运动员徐诗晓代表，空军航空兵某旅飞行员王文义代表。谢谢。现在请大家开始提问。
王文义，
请中国日报社记者提问，举手这位女士。
First question, please.
中国日报记者提问，我的问题提给徐诗晓代表。代表您好，您在女子双人划艇500米项目上蝉联了东京、巴黎2届奥运会的冠军。在您乘风破浪的过程当中，一定有很多难以忘怀的瞬间，可不可以给我们分享一下？谢谢。
好的，感谢这位媒体朋友的提问。大家好，我是来自江西团的代表徐诗晓，也是一名中国皮划艇运动员。非常高兴呢，今天在这里和大家一起分享我职业生涯中一些难忘的回忆。也许啊，很多人知道我拿过2届奥运会的冠军，但是呢，却很少有人知道我经历过退役再复出。我出生在江西农村，很小的时候呢，经常帮家里干农活，也练出了很大的力气，经常和班里的男同学呀扳手腕，也赢过不少男生。13岁的时候，体校教练去学校招生，我意外成为一名皮划艇运动员。14岁进入专业队，15岁拿到第1个全国冠军。本以为我的体育生涯会继续这样平凡地走下去，但是呢，因为女子划艇项目未被正式列入奥运项目，2013年带着遗憾选择了退役。
But I chose a women's canoe. But in 2013, I gave up. And then 4 years later, my coach telephoned me and asked me whether do I like to rejoin the game of women's canoe. He told me that it has rejoined the Olympic family and it will be accommodated at the Tokyo Olympics. At the time, I was working for the private sector, and I had waved goodbye to this sport for 4 years, and it's very hard to pick it back up. But the dream of participating in the Olympic Games was just like a fire. It's igniting me, and the first challenge I felt was I encountered was the 13th national sports competition in Tianjin, and I have to win this game. Maybe it has to do with where I came from, the old revolutionary base, and at the time I was only 14 months away, and I engaged in very intense trainings, and I do 14 hours of training every day, and after the day's training I felt like overstretched, and at the end of every day I have to have my knees treated, and I remember feeling drowsy and dizzy after a day's hard training, but I never gave up, and I continued with my hard training, and then in 2010 at the final round of the national sports competition, I got 2 gold medals, and I was successfully elevated to the national team. And when I put on the uniform of the Team China, my dream at the time was to not just attend the Olympic Games. I had the dream of achieving a gold medal at the Olympic Games so that my national flag can be hoisted behind me. And from the World Championships in 2019, I worked together with my partner in women's double canoe, and whenever we are in the game, we are number 1, and our speed is sometimes dubbed as China speed, and at the Paris Olympic Games, and we made a record in terms of the gold medals that we have won overseas, and this is making me more than proud. And as an athlete, as the athlete that has gone through many years of training, I have also proposed some suggestions to the NPC. I want sports to be spread across the country. I hope more people can join sports just like me, so that you can harvest health and happiness from sports. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。
Next question, please.
这个问题请解放军报社记者提问。
I would like
解放军报记者提问。
the
王
PLA
代表
Daily.
您好。
So from PLA Daily, my question to Mr. Wang Wenyi. So we conducted our interview with the troops. I could really strongly feel that the new trend of strict training and striving for a strong military in the new era. What's your feeling? Thank you for your question. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt thanks for your care to the grassroots officers and soldiers. So let's see a pilot from Air Force Aviation Brigade. It's my mission, the daily routine to training. And our brigade is a unit with a glorious tradition. And the military corridor of the brigade is built right next to a corridor, because that corridor actually to convey the history and also talk about the glories, the whole experience, one picture, photo after another, really that told the combat track of the troop across the country. As long as the mission call, the officers and soldiers respond to the call and go to the battlefield. And we have left our footprints in 14 places in 7 provinces. And the story of our predecessors not only let us understand that for whom we fly and where we fly, but also make us feel that the development of the army. Every day we think just one thing, is training for the real battle, preparing for the real battle. As a J-16 pilot, my feeling is that the tighter the combat readiness training of the grassroots units, the stronger the combat capability. I remember that one thing is when the fighter took off, the farmlands and the villages below became smaller, and the air actually quite complex. So actually I need to have really close collaboration with my teammates. And when we finished the first round of confrontation training, we immediately refueled in the air. So from different, that's the training mode, from the intense air combat mode to the dedicated operation. And then we return to the air combat mode. So every day, these kind of two modes actually switch one to another. It was really exhausted physically, but we actually pushing our boundary, pushing our limits. When we finished the mission in the evening, when all the fighter jets returned, looking at the thousands of houses with lights in the distance, I feel the happiness. And because that reunion of every family actually is all guarded by us. We talk about this is a really heavy task, but actually I feel very proud of myself with the mission, because we see that reunion, the peace of the country and the happiness of the people. We talk about that we need to train the air winged drain sword to build the Great Wall of the blue sky. We need to safeguard the airspace. And the fourth plenary session of 20th Central Committee of the CPC had painted a blueprint for building a strong military. And next year, we also will mark the 100th anniversary of founding of the PLA. We have the goal even clearer, and also we know that responsibility is more significant. And we will seize every second, every minute, strive to overcome difficulties, stand ready for battle, and fulfill our mission, contribute our strengths to the realization of the blueprint. Thank you. Friends from the media, after the morning session of the NPC, we will have the first Minister Corridor. We will invite Minister from the Ministry of Technology, the Information Industry and Information Science and Technology, and the State-Owned Asset Supervision Administration Commission. Please stay tuned. Thank you very much. This is the end of the Deputies Corridor.